back to the Sunday Serving channel, where you come every week for a dose of gospel hope. Where can we find gospel hope? Well, I've been doing a lot from the Gospel of Matthew. And there's one story here that I like. It says a lot to us. It's from Matthew 18. You know, a lot of people quote Matthew 18, but let's hear the story about the unmerciful servant. What the story has to teach to us is hopeful, I think. So it says here, Peter came to Jesus and asked, "Lord, how many times should I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me?" That's a great question. How many times, if someone, often in work or in our family situations, our colleagues, someone keeps on doing things to irritate us, and how many times do we have to deal with this or forgive someone? And Peter was trying to be gracious here, and he said, 7 times? Isn't that enough? Listen to what Jesus answered. Jesus answered, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. 77 times. Then he went on. He said, therefore, he told this story, therefore the kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. His servants are probably working people that ran the farms or kept things going in the castle, the cooks, the groundskeepers, the maintenance men. As he began the settlement, a man who owed him 10,000 bags of gold. That's a lot of gold, so he must have also been a banker. A man owed him 10,000 bags of gold was brought to him. Since he was not able to pay, the master ordered that he and his wife and his children and all that he had be sold to pay the debt. So what a terrible judgment. Selling your wife, children, everything you own to pay this debt. At this, the servant fell on his knees before him. "Be patient with me," he begged, "and I will pay back everything." The servant's master took pity on him, canceled the debt, and let him go. Wow, that's amazing. Just canceled the debt and let him go. Imagine that, going from having to think about losing your whole family, your wife, into slavery and everything you own, and going into prison to pay this debt that you have. To go from that fear, that dread, that pain, that shock, to being forgiven, to having the whole debt canceled, everything. He must have been pretty grateful that day. But the story goes on that Jesus told here for a reason. He wants to teach us something. It says, but when that servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 silver coins. He grabbed him and began to choke him. "Pay back what you owe me," he demanded. His fellow servant fell to his knees and begged him, "Be patient with me and I will pay it back." But he refused. Instead, he went off and he had the man thrown into prison until he could pay the debt. But when the other servants saw what had happened, they were outraged, and they went and told their master everything that had happened. So his fellow servants, people around him, his peers, they were so upset by this injustice or this harshness of the servant, whether or not they knew he had been forgiven. They were so upset they told the master that this is outrageous. Then the master called the servant in. "You wicked servant," he said, "I canceled all that debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant, just as I had on you?" In anger, his master handed him over to the jailers to be tortured until he could pay back all he owed. And then Jesus gives the moral here, the point of the story, talks directly to his disciples to us after telling this story. He says, this is how my heavenly Father will treat each of you unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart. Well, that's a strong statement, one that really demands of us as followers of Jesus, as believers in God, to forgive. He says, this is how my heavenly Father will treat each of you unless you forgive your brother or sister sincerely from the bottom of your heart. So that's a powerful parable that Jesus told about forgiveness, about the need to forgive again and again, even when there's terrible injustice, even when someone owes us a debt that's almost unpayable. Forgive. Let it go. Not once, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. And Jesus ends the story with saying, for you, for me, for each of us, that's how much we need to be forgiven. And that's how our Father in heaven will forgive us unless we are unmerciful to others. So it's hopeful because we can forgive and then we'll be forgiven. So forgive, love, 70 times 7. Draw hope in that. God bless you. Have a wonderful week. Remy. Got to find Remy. She's got a forgiveness issue herself with another dog on the place here. So we're gonna go try to take care of that. So God bless you. See you. Remy, let's go.